Yes, I still have the dual battery Surron. In this video I'm going to explain why I built it, when I built it, why not just get a bigger battery. A battery like this was like $2,000. Right now I have a little bit over 4 kilowatts with two original batteries, which are very reliable. Yes, the bike is a little bit heavier, but then it only cost me an additional $500 to buy a second battery. The biggest advantage is that if I want to make it an 8 kilowatt bike, theoretically I could fit two bigger batteries in here. But I never got to it because right now I have about 60-mile range, about 45 to 50 off-road if I take it easy, and about 40 if I take it really hard. And 60 miles in town, it's plenty. I want to mention that this project is not for everybody, but it's really cool. And I have a unique bike. Nobody has a dual battery Surron. So as promised, here's the video. This is how I built it. This is how I built my dual battery Surron. It's perfect. Riding position is great. The battery power is amazing. The weight that I added to it, it's actually making it better than worse. It gives me more grip on the rear. Bike is comfortable. This was not a problem whatsoever. It's in line with the dirt bikes these days. Really enjoying this bike. I love the looks. I love everything about it right now. Here's a cardboard cut the same shape as the battery. So I'm thinking in version 2 to keep this battery over here and just put another battery this way. So it has to clear this shock, so I have to put it maybe a little bit higher so it clears that shock. And also I have to make sure that this doesn't touch it. So those are the two things that I have to do. Now, what that gives me the opportunity to lower the seat anywhere I want, because mostly I'm sitting on this side of the seat, and when I'm super aggressive over here, so I could rest on the battery. One thing that would be even better is that if I could get a 90-degree turn on this shock, so if I could turn the shock to face either this way or that way, then I could clear out this much more space. So why did I move the shock out of the way? Well, for this, look how much room there is now for the second battery. I think this is going to work really well. So here's a version 2. The seat is sitting a little bit forward back, but there's not a problem. And this is the battery location. So after a quick decision, I've turned the battery around. So it is not as wide this way, but I don't want to make it removable. So this is not going to be like the same mistake as the version 1, where I was able to pull it out and put it back in. I'm never going to take it out. There is no reason. If I'm going to take it out, I'm going to take it out with the entire rack, and I'm going to put the old rack in there. So this battery is going to be fixed into that rack and is going to be held together by these bolts. Quite good. So this is the frame that I have right now. It's going to be a mounting point for the rear of the seat, the mounting point for the front of the seat. This is version 2 of the battery holder. It looks a lot better and it fits the stock seat, which is very important. Painted it red just for the hell of it. That's the only paint that I had in the garage. So big changes on this version. The battery is kind of like in a fixed position. So what I do is, instead of having the battery slide in and out, I'm just going to put the battery in here and then mount it on the bike with the battery on it. I never take the battery out, and it's going to hold it a lot snuggier that way. It's going to be in a much better position, so it's not going to wobble around. Then you don't have to over-engineer it for certain things to be able to pull it out, put it back in and all that stuff. One thing that I've done to this project is I've skinny it, and I'm not sure if I reinforced it enough. So I have a couple of good welds on it, but I hope it's going to be strong enough to be able to not break apart. Obviously, it's going to put a little bit of a stress on the mounts, on the frame. Based on my calculation, it should fit in here. Remains to be seen. So this version 2 is a lot better. It looks, I think I took the ugliness out of it. This looks actually quite sexy. I'm liking it. I'm really liking it. Yeah, I think it's a lot more sexier now. I have 18 miles today, maximum speed 50, and the battery is at 62%. This is the first light disappear off of it. This is amazing. This dual setup, so much more fun. I have 4 kilowatts of power at my disposal. I'm sport mode all day long. This is just how this Surron should have been built. If they would have built it like this, it would have been an amazing bike. It was always leaving me with a bad taste in my mouth after like 15 miles, was running out of power, 17 miles, it was done. And now with the two batteries, it seems that it's distributing the load a lot better, so they drain a lot slower. I think I could do more miles on them And I had that limp mode at the end, you know, after you pass the 11%, another like 10 miles on limp mode. So the last 10% lasts 10 miles because it's into a limp mode where you could only go like 15, 12, 15 miles an hour. So it's extremely efficient. So if you're far from home, the two batteries together are getting drained at such a low level that they just are able to put out that juice for a very, very long time. It rised a little bit, so it got a little bit higher since I put these fatter tires and I changed the shock and installed the battery. It got higher in the back, so I have a lot more clearance that I didn't have before. But still I have to watch the pedals for like very, very gnarly stuff, just so things don't get out of control. The second battery on it did not impede the way that the bike feels. It doesn't feel heavier. It doesn't feel like worse on the trail, except when I put it on the hitch of the car. When I lift it over there, I could feel the extra 25 pounds. But here on these cliffhangers, the bike is just performing as well as anywhere. So I'm very confident that this is gonna do very well in Moab. We're gonna have so much fun in this bike. And then look, I could hit those rocks with no problem, those ledges. Yeah, I've totally changed this bike. This bike cost me 4 grand. I'm still under what I paid for the other Surron. And this is just unbelievable. Absolutely unbelievable. I'm loving this thing. In this format is just how the Surron should have built it initially. I think they missed the opportunity of figuring out how to put the battery under the seat. They just missed a huge opportunity over there to just sell you another battery. They should have just hold the production line a little bit, and then it would have been the perfect bike. So nice. And I think adding that battery in the back of the bike stabilized the back, added a little bit more weight to it. Even when it jumps a lot more balanced. Like it doesn't, before it had the tendency to just drop the front, so you always landed on the front, where right now I actually have to be careful not to land on the rear too much. But the shock can take it. The rear shock so far didn't complain very much. I built a tank. I really built a tank. It's nothing but smiles.